Romania, and church leadership are also aware that there's many new people to Church at 109. So some of you have heard me many times, some of you not at all. So I'm going to endeavour to give you a 22-year story in 10 minutes. So buckle up. No, just relax, and I hope you'll enjoy. This morning, as you came in, I hope you received one of these. Part of my new role and being focused totally on the Family Centre for the next few years is being able to create some resources. We've now got a website, all that techno stuff, which for 21 years we never had. So hopefully you've received one of these. If you haven't, please feel free to grab me at the end of the service and get one. There's also some on the information stand in the auditorium. Not the auditorium, in the cafe. Oh, I'm a wee bit nervous. I don't normally get nervous. So some of you will remember a president called Nicolae Ceausescu, and in 1989, some of you will remember there was a revolution in the country called Romania, where the people rose up against the then president, and he was taken out. And following that, the country opened up. Before that, it was a closed country. It was a communist country, and it was opened up, and so many people came into the country, and what they found was a legacy that wasn't nice at all. So just to print up, I'm not going to show any pictures that reflect that. But what people did find was thousands, actually, of orphanages filled with children who had been abandoned or put there for a number of reasons. And so, yeah, it became, I remember it being on TV. So 11 years after that, in 1999, I actually visited Romania, and I went in the capacity of a person who was working in foster care and social work. And so I went for what I thought was going to be a 1-month visit to run training in foster care and social work. But when I got there, it wasn't set up as what I had thought it was going to be. And so I ended up working a lot in orphanages, and I did a little bit of training. Which one do I point this? Could you click the slide? So I ended up volunteering in orphanages, and I ended up actually living there for 7 years. Sorry, that just threw me off. Just needs a few clicks, I think, to make it come through. So I worked in, volunteered in orphanages and stayed there for quite some time. I'm just going to... Sometimes it's not one click, sometimes it needs a few clicks. There we go. So I settled in a small, well, not small, in a rural city, and sorry, I've lost my track. I just need to pause. It does throw you, when the IT doesn't work. I did some training once. It was like an all-day training, and I got there and the overhead didn't work. Oh my gosh, I had to run this training all day with no overhead. That was scary. Anyway, I stayed for 1 month and returned the following year and remained there for another 6. And during that time, when I first came back, I worked in that orphanage. And during that time, earlier in that time, I had a big moment one day where I saw babies being transferred from one orphanage to this orphanage. And it was just ripped my heart out. And my prayer was, God, what can I do? And the answer to that prayer was the start of an organisation called the Family Centre in Romania, and it's Centru pentru Familia. And the Family Centre will have another click, thanks. The Family Centre is really quite simple what we do, why we exist. We exist to prevent babies and children being put into orphanages. It's very simple. And how we do that is stuff that's very normal to hear in New Zealand in terms of a social service or an organisation. We provide social work, we provide parenting courses, we do a daycare which is for high-risk children, we do cooking classes, we do mum support groups, we do assistance with food. None of it's unusual for here, but for over there, it's really unusual. And what makes it so unusual, we'll have the next slide, thank you, is the way that we do that. And so the way that we do that, I think is, I love what this social worker said about us. It's not about the programs, it's not just services and programs, it's a place where love and nurture is modelled. And she said, I've never been in an environment like this before. And she said, you are different. And we are different. By heck, we're different. We're different because Christ is the centre of the family centre. What we do is done in the way that Christ would want it done in a family or to those that are alongside us. It's about honouring children and families. It's about caring for people. It's about loving unconditionally. One of the things about the orphanages is that if you're seen as a second-rate citizen. I'm just choosing my words carefully here this morning. So there's a lot of ostracising. A couple of months ago I was in Auckland and I was speaking to some Romanian people actually. It was the first time I've talked to Romanian people like that. And a girl came up to me afterwards and she said, you know, Margie, I can remember when I was at school that we had kids from the orphanage come to our school. And I said, oh, wow, because I'd never heard that from somebody. And I said, what was that like? And her face was just so sullen. And she described how the children were really ostracised, how nobody interacted with them, they never came with food, and the other children were mean to them. So children grow up in these orphanages and they eventually leave, but when they leave, they continue to be ostracised. And so in the orphanage, they don't have a family, they don't have a support network, and so when they come out, that remains, accepting they now know their people are the people they grew up with in the orphanage. And so you've got mums and dads, or you've got young people who have grown up in orphanages with no one, now out in the community with no one but each other. Can I have thank you. So at the family centre, I've said things like, for New Zealand it's normal, and I hope that looks normal for you. Let's over to the next one, thank you. So what we do is we gather around the families and we support them. So they've got no support network, they've got no one helping them, there's minimal support from the community. And so the family centre very much becomes like their village, really. One of the quotes that's in that booklet is that one around, it takes a village to raise a child. And so for many of the families that come to us, they don't have a village. And so we become their village. And so it's a very, very unique thing. We're able to walk alongside them for however long it takes. And so many of the families that come through our doors stay with us for a number of years, and I'm talking 5, 6, 7 years. So the daycare that's there, it's just a Monday to Friday thing. It's a place where children can come to where it's safe and where they can learn and where they can receive good food. But it's not like an orphanage. Some people get us confused. We're not an orphanage. Yeah. Can I have the next one, please? Earlier this year, Camelia came from Romania. She's the lady that heads up the work now. And she shared some stories. And one of the things that she shared about was a mum that said to her, I grew up in an orphanage. There was no one to show me. I just want you to let that sink in for a moment. There was no one to show me. And so again, that's why the Family Centre exists. One of the things that we're doing that's new is, and it came up on the previous slide, is that we're looking to do what we're just going to call supported living. And so we're going to rent an apartment, and we're going to have one mum and her children come, just one mum at a time, to live in that apartment, and we're going to wrap around that family the love and the care and the nurture that, yes, they do get at the Family Centre, but it's a real day-to-day thing. So we're going to start right back at the beginning of the showing and the modelling and the showing how. And that's right from cleaning the toilet to doing everything. And so that will be a program that will be very intentional, but that will be very, it's not forever, but very intentional. I've got mountains I could share with you, and I've probably shared about half. I hope that the brochure that you've received this morning will give you a little bit more info. We now have this great website which has lots of information on as well, and the link to the website is also through the church website, so it's easy peasy, or the information is on the, can you just click through the last pictures? Thank you. Is on the brochure, I think is what I was saying. We do need help. My role now, I came back after 7 years and I've remained involved, but May last year I went over to Romania with an unexpected visit, and I'm just going to do a little demonstration. So I went with some jobs to do. I went with some jobs to do, and I did those jobs. But while I was there, it makes me cry all the time. I just felt like God just tapped me on the shoulder, just ever so gently, and said to me, Margie, there's more that I was to do. And so it was as gentle as that. And that more is about helping them to navigate for the next 22 years. But I'm 63, I don't have another 22 years. But it is about helping them to go into the next chapter. And so for the next 2 to 3 years, I've committed to do this full time. And so we do need some help. So I need some help for finance to do this, and also the Family Centre needs some help with finance too. So if that's something that's in your heart and you might feel prompted to do, it's really easy to do. It's any donations are tax receipted. All the information's in the brochure, and it's also on our website. God said to me when he did this prompting, when I got back, I'm winding up now. When I got back, I was praying with some friends in Gisborne, and my friend said to me, Margie, God's just shown me really clearly that there's going to be people in the wings, and those people are waiting to help. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful to hear that, because it's a pretty lonely thing out the front, And so maybe God is going to prompt one of you. Maybe you're one of those people that might be able to help. And it's about the little help makes the big help. And so if that is, I would love to talk to you or contact me on any of those ways on the brochure. Phone, text, email, yeah. Thank you.